In a podcast land where thoughts collide, Brian and Craig will be your guide. No topic too small, no tale too tall. Tune in, laugh out, you'll have a ball. From mysteries deep to light-hearted jokes in a poker rhythm where laughter invokes. Untitled is their name, the fun untamed. Each episode a ride, this shows their claim. Untitled, Brian and Craig, get ready for a twist and a leg shake. In a quirky world where anything goes, join the ride as the madness flows.
This is a historic first,
It really is. I'm looking at Brian,
and I am looking right at Craig.
and it's like actually Brian, not Brian on a screen. This is amazing. We're sitting in the same room.
Yes, it is my half-empty office. Because I would tell Craig knows what I've been doing all week.
Yeah,
But-
the listeners not so much.
I have been packing up my entire home and doing thousands of dollars worth of like actual work that has only cost me less than thousands of dollars.
Which is the equation you want? You want thousands of dollars to cost less than thousands of dollars if you can make that work.
Exactly. And I think that's the key, because I sold my home, and just today I signed the paperwork on the home in Buffalo, which is technically Niagara Falls in the southern neighborhoods.
We'll give the exact address later so you can come and see him.
Yes, you can yell at me.
Drop on by and yell profanities at his front doorstep for whatever reason.
Yes, and have my dog scream at you
Yes.
for hours on end. But yeah, my week has just been literally packing up my entire home, packing up my life, and it's kind of sad when you see everything you own in little boxes.
It's all packed up.
Yeah.
It's less sad when it's your friend's stuff all packed up in his little boxes and you're helping him move it. But
True. That couch was a mother.
we moved a couch today, and it may have shortened my life by about 4 years.
It was rough. And what we were really worried about was the washing machine.
Easy,
It was easy.
so easy.
And it kind of hurt me because I was really worried about it because the drum was full of water. And I'm like, this thing won't drain. And then we get to it, and it's like the easiest thing we've ever done.
And it's on the truck. It was by far the easiest thing we moved tonight.
You literally cannot prepare yourself for anything anymore. Like, you can't prepare yourself for what's going on the national stage, and you can't prepare yourself for what you're doing just to stay alive.
Oh, the house.
In your own house, you can't prepare for it. So, whatever.
We're winging it. We're winging it. We'll do it live.
Stay alive! So he apparently lived and worked in Denver, Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, you said that.
And he was apparently a piece of shit then.
Yeah. Shocking.
Which, yeah, no one was
Surprised.
No.
No one is surprised. So here we are. We are sitting in Castle Rock. Almost certainly the last time anything by either of us will be recorded in Castle Rock.
Yes. Although when he does come to visit in Buffalo, we will do a recording.
Oh, yeah. But we won't be in Castle Rock when I'm in Buffalo.
But we won't be in. Yes, exactly.
Yes, for sure.
And we will see the legendary tailgater Pinto Ron.
Yes.
When we go see Josh Allen win against whoever. They haven't released the
Whoever
schedule
they
yet.
play. No.
No, they
No.
don't do that until like what, April? No.
April or May or something. Yeah, it'll be a while before we know exactly when I'm coming to Buffalo, but it's coming.
Yes.
It's coming. It's coming. So
Make
hey,
sure it's like against the Lions, a team that doesn't actually exist.
the Lions do in fact exist.
The Lions aren't real.
No, I believe in the Detroit Lions as a thing that exists.
They don't exist.
No, they do. They really do. I'm not sure about Michigan as a whole, but Detroit Lions do exist.
I don't know. According to the lore of our show, the Detroit Lions aren't real.
We're iffy on the Detroit
They're
Lions.
still iffy. So we're coming around in raccoons, but the
The
Detroit,
Detroit
Lions,
That's a hard no.
hard no. They do not exist. It's because lions are not native to Detroit.
I mean, that's fair. That is fair. It's a good point. I can't really refute that one. So, oh, well, hey, this is episode 19.
Yeah.
If we ever get episode 17 and 18 out,
So 17 and 18 will be like probably in the same week.
okay, that's good.
Because I had a catastrophic file error
Yeah, that sounds bad.
with 17, and I had to this will be the third time I'm re-editing it.
And listeners, I just get this text like, things are really bad. It's gonna be rough. Like, what happened? Like, I thought someone had died. Maybe it was real bad.
No, it wasn't that
Whew,
bad.
that's good.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
Did we talk about Josh Allen receiving the MVP?
I don't think we have, because that might have happened since last time we recorded.
Did.
He
So
won the MVP.
Josh Allen obviously won MVP, said a bunch of good stuff, but he name dropped some dude in the mailroom named Slick Rick.
Oh, I saw that video. Yes, very cool.
Yes.
Yeah,
Slick Rick.
like it made Slick Rick's year,
Oh yeah.
maybe his decade. I don't know.
I'm gonna be honest. Slick Rick is an amazing name for a person who works in the mail.
Mailroom.
Like honestly, anywhere, if your name is Slick Rick and you work anywhere,
You're doing okay.
you're doing all right.
Yeah.
You're doing all right.
I agree. Ooh, I like this recording in the same room. This is fun.
Yeah. You can riff off each other a lot easier.
Easier. I can tell when you're talking, and I can interrupt you easier without all of a sudden being like, oh, yeah. Good. Just as an update, so you can know where we're at, frame of mind. We spent about 2 hours lifting heavy things,
Yeah.
and then we went and ate all of the Italian food in Castle Rock, I think.
Yeah.
And I am uncomfortably full of Italian food.
There is other things you could be more uncomfortably
Oh,
full.
for sure. Yeah, I'm very happy that it was just Italian food.
He actually ate
Almost.
He had half of an order of lasagna
That I shared with my wife.
that he shared with his wife, who is real.
I
met
she does
her.
exist.
She does exist. And he ate 90% of it.
95% of it, maybe?
93% of it.
Okay, that sounds about right.
93% of it. And he's like, "Can I get the smallest box you?"
There are probably 2 bites of lasagna left, but I couldn't bring myself to throw away because it's really good lasagna.
And so he's like, "Hey, I need this really small box." She brings a ramekin, like you would get for like blue cheese.
Sauce. Yes.
And it fits perfectly.
It's so good. I have a ramekin of lasagna that I can eat for lunch tomorrow.
Well, part of his lunch.
Oh yeah, it won't be enough for a full lunch.
I mean, to be fair, Craig is a tall man. He's much taller than I am.
Yes.
And he needs more food.
No, I don't.
Scientifically, he needs more food to sustain him.
I'm not positive that's true, but you ate a lot of pizza.
That is true. I did eat a lot of pizza, but I also don't eat a lot in general.
I don't think I eat that much.
Which doesn't make sense because I'm really fat. So I don't know how that works, but we'll figure that out.
It's all good. It's all good. So here we are. It's what night? It's Thursday night.
Thursday night, yeah.
We've never recorded not on a weekend before. This is fantastic. Yeah. I love everything about it.
We did record on election night, but that was a one-off.
That's true. Okay, so it's our second one-off. That's not how one-offs work, but okay.
Yes, it's our second off?
It's a two-off.
It's a two-off, yeah.
It's a two-off with a ramekin of lasagna.
A ramekin of lasagna. But okay, now, I think it's time for...
Oh. The news!
All right, so what's on tap?
Okay. Dateline, Nebraska.
Oh, fuck, Nebraska.
No, it's good. It's good.
Is it, wait, did they see the corn monster?
I don't think this has anything to do with the corn monster. I'm not even familiar with the corn monster. What's the corn
I don't know, I'm
monster?
just making shit up. I assume there's some monster made out of corn because it's Nebraska. I don't fucking know.
I want a corn monster now. That's better than anything I have. It's a corn monster.
Like the correct dude is like, what are you made of corn? Shoot children with corn kernels.
Children of the corn. But then it's the monster that I don't know. Okay, well, the corn monster. Well, from the land, we brought you the corn monster, Nebraska. An opossum was recently treated at a Nebraska animal hospital because it wandered into a family's backyard. And this family, they like to shop at Costco.
As one does.
Yeah. But they bought too much stuff. But it's wintertime, so they figure, hey, all we have to do is put the food that we can't fit into our freezer on the table in the backyard. Because it's cold, so it'll stay.
I'm gonna be honest with you, that is some Alaskan shit if I've ever heard it.
Apparently also Nebraskan. Nebraskan.
Oh,
hey! Yeah. So if you have a house full, you cook a lot, when you run out of room in the fridge, you just set it on the table in the winter. Thus said Kim Doggett, in words that he would live to regret. Her son took some fresh made peanut butter balls outside to cool. Apparently, these people.
Wait, what is a peanut butter ball?
It's Nebraska. No one knows. There's corn monsters running around.
Yeah. All right. If your children are getting shot at by the corn monster, I guess that makes sense.
Apparently, they needed to cool. It's a peanut butter ball. Did you cook it?
What the fuck is it?
It's just written in the story as if that's a normal thing. He had some peanut butter.
I need
balls.
hyperlink context, Greg.
All I have is the story as it was written on United. What does UPI stand for? United Press International? Maybe?
Oh no.
I think UPI is like a legitimate news source, but I don't know what the 3 letters mean. Underwater people incisors.
Sure.
Yeah, I
believe
that doesn't make sense. Okay. The peanut butter balls had to go outside to cool.
I thought that's how we get stuck. We get stuck in peanut butter balls.
Well, they needed to cool, Brian. So he takes them outside. This family is far too liberal in just putting food outdoors.
Clearly.
And he noticed that the table was covered in chocolate paw prints. It turned out that a wild opossum native to the area had come into their backyard and found an entire chocolate cake from Costco, a gigantic, and the opossum ate the entire thing. And then, much like me with Italian food, although he didn't save a ramekin of chocolate cake, he ate the whole thing, and then he passed out in their backyard.
That's like 5 pounds of cake.
So much cake for one opossum. But he's like, what is this? I'm never going to have this again. I'm going to eat it all.
That is one of those things where you're like, do what you must. I've already won.
So he's just laying there, much like a raccoon that finds weed chocolate.
Yeah.
And he's just passed out. And Kim looked down and said, I know that chocolate is poisonous for dogs. I'm not sure about possums, but we should probably get this dude checked out.
So not only do they take their peanut butter balls out to cool, they just pick up this comatose this comatose opossum. They're like, hey, I think this thing is dead.
It might be dead. Let's take it to the animal hospital.
Oh, okay.
So they somehow managed to get the possum into the car. They drove it to the Humane Society and got him checked out. The doctor said, we think he's going to be okay.
Well, it ate its entire body weight in chocolate cake.
And apparently it had a very high level of lead, likely from eating local insects, because apparently Nebraska insects are very high in lead. I don't know, but they were giving him treatment to reduce the amount of lead inside the possum.
Oh, well, there you go.
The Humane Society, they know these things. And and the possum was let go a few days later after, he's a chocoholic now, probably. He's going to be chasing that high for the rest of his life.
He's going to tell all the other opossums. Yeah, you can't really come back.
You can't save a ramekin of cake, though. You have to eat it all. It'll be fine, guys. They'll take you to the hospital. Everything's great.
Then you get treated for lead.
Oh, so yeah, they said with some time in rehab and a diet reset, he should be stabilized enough to return to the wild. But he's definitely a little bit cranky about their no chocolate policy. They're not letting him eat any more chocolate.
Oh,
yeah. So he's on his way back to the wild, apparently, and an opossum ate an entire chocolate cake and then got taken to the hospital in Nebraska. But most importantly, we also learned that peanut butter balls must go outside to cool for reasons that no one understands.
What is a peanut butter ball? What is?
Brian is Googling. Why is it hot?
What?
When I think of a peanut butter ball, I think it's just a ball of peanut butter, in which case heating would not come into it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm Craig, and that is the news.
So I looked up peanut butter balls.
We have a live report coming in from our reporter, Brian.
They're apparently called Buckeyes.
Oh, I know what a Buckeye. That's a chocolate-covered ball of peanut butter.
Yeah.
There's no cooking involved.
So it's a no-bake candy. So I don't know. So I don't know what the hell they were doing.
They were making peanut butter warm, Brian. I think we've established that. Why is the real question.
Oh, because you had to melt the chocolate.
Oh, maybe.
Okay. Okay.
The peanut butter balls had to go outside to cool. Best part of the story.
Someone fixated on this opossum ate its body weight in fucking chocolate cake.
Such a big chocolate cake for one possum.
It really is.
Oh, he's awesome though. There's a picture of him too. You want to see the picture?
Yes, I do want to see the
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. There he is.
Oh, he is screaming.
Yeah, he doesn't look real happy. Although aren't they like ones that play dead and stuff? Like,
Yeah, they do.
they're not super aggressive.
Actually,
They look mean, but
the cool thing about opossums is they're really integral to the not the economy. The
maybe.
oh fuck, man, I don't know.
It's Trump's America. Maybe they are now. Who can say?
Oh god, what's the word? Oh my god, not ecology. Oh my god,
The climate. The
ecosystem. Jesus. Wow. Yes, they're really integral to the ecosystem, and they can't get rabies. Although for whatever reason people think they can get rabies, they're naturally resistant to rabies.
That's good to know.
They can't get rabies.
Okay.
Also, baby opossums are hella cute.
Most baby mammals are pretty cute.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll take your word on the opossums because even like the grown-up ones, they're a little scary looking, but also kind of scary and cute at the same time.
Charming. They're charming in their own way.
I guess. They also look like if an eel grew legs and walked onto into Nebraska, it might be an opossum. I think eels and possums might be somehow related.
I think you're right. I think you might be right. You're onto something there.
Thank you. So anyway, that's all I had for the news. Aren't you glad I grabbed my iPad for that?
Yes, I'm glad. Well, although we totally didn't focus on the news story.
Well, we kind of did. Just a very important. It's the details. That's where the magic lies, is in the specific details.
Yes.
Oh, and I have. It's not exactly a brain break thing, but it's sort of in that vein of a weird thing. If you want it,
hit me with it.
Okay.
Is it as weird as the Mormons going to Kolob?
Nothing is as weird as the Mormons going to Kolob. We'll get there, I suppose.
No, I just wanted to say that so that we
For
can
the record.
for the record, so that we can include it in our pitch.
We need to give more details because that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, this is out of context. So there was a few episodes. I don't think we aired it yet, but where we basically talk about the weird parts of the Mormon religion, and we found another weird part about the planet Kolob, which is a
magical place.
Magical place. I mean, it could be real. I don't know, but apparently,
it could not be real.
I don't know. There's a bunch of different planets. I'm not ruling it out. There could be a planet called Kolob.
Well, maybe there's a planet called Kolob, but the stuff that's supposed to happen there ain't happening.
No. So apparently, if you're a good enough Mormon, you go to Kolob and become a god. And
I think so. Gods. And the time, like one day is like 1,000 years there or something.
Yeah, so there's like crazy time dilation and stuff. I don't know.
Apparently, if you're a good enough Mormon, eventually all good Mormons become gods.
Or something?
It's very confusing.
Yeah, we're horribly paraphrasing, and if you are Mormon and you are listening to the show,
sorry.
Yeah, please let us know. We probably really fucked that up.
I mean, not any more than they did. They made it up first.
I mean, it's not as bad as Scientology, but that's a whole other thing.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there's a planet called Kolob, and if you're a good Mormon, you can become a god there.
Yeah,
Mormonism does not become less weird the further into it you look.
The onion gets crazier.
It does. So no, my story is about a patent that was issued in 1927.
Oh God. Oh, Jesus, this could be literally anything.
It really could, but what it is pretty fantastic. It was issued to a woman. Let me see if I can find her name.
Oh God, was it for treatment of hysteria?
No, it's even more fun than that. Helene Adelaide Shelby of Oakland, California.
Jesus Christ, she definitely sounds like she was born in the 20s.
No, she lived in the 20s. She came up with her idea. She was born in the 1800s, probably.
Oh yeah, you're probably.
I don't know her exact date, but anyway, the 20s were a wild and crazy time. I'd like to point out that in 1963, I believe it was, laws were made where you could not have forced confessions by criminals under duress. That comes into play here in just a second, and you'll see why.
Jesus, what the hell? This could be this might be Cheesecake's level of amazing.
In 1927, she was given a patent for her how do I describe this? Her invention of getting people to confess to their crimes. Because apparently
So
everybody in the 20s was confessing to crimes and then saying that they didn't mean to confess and that it wasn't true and
that is a weird thing.
recanting. Yeah, so she was concerned about this. Why? I can't say. It was 1927. It was a different time.
So is this like sodium pentothal?
so far away from sodium pentothal,
God.
you would not even believe. No, her invention
Okay.
was an interrogation room, I think is the best way to describe it.
Okay.
Here's what her idea was. This qualified for a US patent. I'd just like to make that. The government said, you know what, good idea. You get the rights to this. It was a interrogation room that was completely dark. They would put them into a dark room, the criminal, who they wanted to confess to the crime that they have committed.
Mhm.
The potential criminal, guilty until proven innocent. At least until that goes away. We're going to continue with that.
Okay.
And suddenly, a light would come on inside of a skeleton skull.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, no, just keep going.
You're like, I don't know how to press it. What? Yeah. There would be a skeleton in the room that had a camera attached to it. This is pretty advanced because I don't think they had cameras like secret cameras hidden.
Yeah, they were like
camera did not exist yet. That was not a thing.
Yeah, they were like reel to reel, and maybe the genesis of Super 8, maybe.
Maybe, but I don't know that that early. I don't know. But her idea was that there would be this camera that could both take video and get a video, audio recording of the confession, but it would be hidden within a skeleton. The skeleton would have a red light inside of its head so that it glowed. The theory is that when criminal saw a glowing red skeleton asking them questions about their crimes, because there would be like an actual cop or somebody behind the skeleton in another room controlling the skeleton. So it's kind of like a Wizard of Oz kind of thing.
This seems like a whole ass production.
It really is. Yes. The theory was that the criminals would be so terrified that they would confess to all of the crimes that they had committed. They might confess that they were puppies at this point. Who knows? But
Okay.
and whoever was at the US Patent Office was like, you know what? This is good. We're going to issue the patent. This is great. You get all the rights to this. And they issued a patent, and it never, unfortunately, came to fruition. But it would have been pretty amazing to have like maybe this works for us, but like after this is the 20s, so every criminal will be like, yeah, see, yeah, we're doing the like that's all criminals.
Yeah, that's exactly how they spoke. Yeah.
I mean, I've watched movies. I know that's historical proof.
So there's actually something funny about that. That's they spoke about. Lauren found this out.
Oh yeah.
He spoke. They spoke so that they could save time.
Yeah, they make it faster and also more clear or something. I don't. Yeah, or they lose their accents when they talk like that. Yeah. But the criminals, the criminals would maybe the very first time, if they were real superstitious, not a little stitious, superstitious. They might fall for that once, but then they're going to be like, no, guys, just take it into the police. I feel like the word of this would get around. Like, I don't know if you can pull out the red glowing skeleton confessional booth and for it to actually work. But apparently somebody thought it was a good enough idea to give a patent to it. So there's an actual patent number that's still listed with the US Patent Office for the red skeleton glowing to scare people into confessions.
That might be. I would love to see that on like the next season of like crime procedurals.
This isn't technically legal, but we thought we might give it a shot.
Yeah. Like, shit, they have a guy going around saying everything's lupus. I mean, shit, why not? I don't know.
That's my brain breaker or whatever. I came across that story. It was on Atlas Obscura.
I love that.
I know, right? So yeah, I read that story. I'm like, well, that's just too much fun not to share. So
that is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you about the Canadian maple syrup heist.
I'm very excited for this.
So it took place over several months in 2011 and 2012, where thieves stole 2,700 tons.
That's so much syrup.
Of maple syrup from Quebec. Their strategic maple syrup reserve, valued at $18 million at the time of the theft.
Wait. You just said some words. Wait, I'm gonna try to repeat them. The strategic maple syrup reserves.
Correct. Because as all Americans know, that if Canadians don't eat at least 1 ounce of pure maple syrup a day, they'll turn into actual Americans.
They might learn how to pronounce the letter O.
Correct. Yes.
What's this all about?
So it was discovered in July of 2012 during a routine inventory check.
Well, you gotta have routine inventory checks if you're strategic maple syrup reserve. What are we doing? What is the show? I love everything about it. Oh,
This show goes off the rails so fast. So fast. So anyways, routine inventory check at a Federation of Quebec maple syrup producers warehouse. They found barrels containing water instead of syrup.
It's like the Indiana Jones things where they get like a bag of one thing that's got gold in it and the other one has rocks or sand or whatever, and then they try to move it into position.
Or like when you're a teenager and you're like sneaking vodka.
Or a little bit of water.
Yeah.
Your dad's vodka.
Yeah, stuff like that. Apparently, and I didn't know this, but apparently Quebec produces more than 72% of the world's maple syrup.
Just Quebec.
Just Quebec, yeah.
I wouldn't have thought it.
So anyways, one of the main guide, Richard Valliere,
Easy for you to say.
Sure. He was found guilty in 2016 of fraud, trafficking, and theft of 9,500 barrels of syrup.
What do you do with that many barrels of syrup? Is there like a big secondhand market where you can make money off of that?
Well, like the bigger problem is how do you wheel all that shit out?
And no one noticed?
No one noticed. So he was sentenced to 8 years in prison and fined more than $9 million Canadian.
It's like $12.
So it's like $12. Yeah. Apparently, and then the Supreme Court of Canada upheld the decision, ruling that he must pay a fine equal to the value of the stolen syrup, not just the profit he made from it.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It apparently inspired a dark comedy series called The Sticky, which aired last year on Prime Video.
Wait, how long was he in prison for?
8 years.
Hey, buddy, what are you in for?
I stole
so much syrup, you guys.
so much. Apparently, it highlighted the economic value and the controlled market of maple syrup, and it caused a bunch of issues with the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, which is a legal cartel, which sets production quotas, prices, and controls the market of maple syrup.
They take maple syrup very seriously in the Great White North.
They
are not messing around with their national maple syrup reserves.
But yeah, that is the maple syrup heist.
Wow.
And it is apparently it was also featured in a documentary series called Dirty Money in Netflix in 2018.
I like the other one better, The Sticky.
The Sticky.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, there's also 17 men. So it was an operation.
It was like a whole thing.
It was a whole thing.
17
and
people.
And apparently, adjusted for inflation, is the most valuable heist in all of Canadian history. And it is literally the most Canadian thing I've ever heard of.
It's right up there.
Yeah. So,
wow.
That is the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist in Quebec.
Quebec.
Yeah.
Canada, not the 51st state.
Not the 51st state.
Let's keep it that way. No. No.
Who can tell? In 6 months, we might have a different story.
That's true. The king, he will decide. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, we have so much.
We have a lot to go on again. We have a lot to go on. I like how you keep, because we haven't released episodes 17 and 18, you keep talking like, well, they haven't heard this yet. It's like, well, this one's coming out after those.
Yeah. So they will know.
They will know.
They will know.
That's fine.
Oh, man. God, there's so much.
There's so much. I think we're making an Ocean's 12 movie.
I think
it's not Ocean's 12. It's, what's a brand of syrup? Is there a syrup brand? Mrs. Butterworth 17.
Have you ever met Mr. Buttersworth?
No, I don't think he exists. He's like the Detroit Lions. Maybe there is. Maybe this is the search for Mr. Buttersworth.
Yeah.
That could be It could be Buttersworth 17, The Search for Mr. Buttersworth.
Yeah,
We have a title. I don't know what that does for us, but we do have a
we have a
title.
title. Yes.
We
All right.
start out in a little Nebraska town. Little Johnny's putting his peanut butter balls out to cool.
But he's careful to avoid the corn
You
monster.
gotta avoid the corn monster. Yeah, Johnny lost his whole family from the corn monster attacks. He takes it seriously. The peanut butter balls gotta cool, but you also gotta take things seriously, Brian. You can't just be walking outside without at least looking to your left and to your right. And Brian, just for reference, to your right and to your left.
Yes.
Sorry, that was a physical humor over a podcast, which doesn't usually work. But I was pointing to the right and to the left,
Yes.
just for Brian's sake, because we've had a little trouble with that today.
Yeah.
But that's okay. So Johnny is in Nebraska. His peanut butter balls are now cooling on the table. The corn monster is nowhere to be seen, and that's for the best.
Thank God.
Yeah. When all of a sudden, a peculiar Canadian who's dressed up like a Mountie, because I think all Canadians are required by law at least once a week to dress like a Mountie. That's law. In
That's
Canada.
law.
That's founded. And he comes out and he's like, I need you to join my team. We're doing the largest Canadian heist in history. Are we taking gold? Are we robbing a casino? No, son, think bigger. Syrup.
Yes.
No, not the strategic maple syrup reserve.
Stinger. Dun dun dun.
But Johnny is recruited, and we go from place to place. What's another place that we went to? I don't know.
We go to Kolob.
Sir, you're practically God now. You've been here for 2 days, but that's like 2,000 years. So you've learned a lot, clearly. We need you to be our what kind of positions would you need? We need 17 people for Buttersworth 17, but we need to be the tap man.
Tap man.
You're gonna make sure that we get the right ramekins underneath.
Yes.
First we have to empty out all of the lasagna from all of the ramekins.
Yes.
And then we're gonna fill these ramekins, because that's how you steal maple syrup most effectively, is you fill it with
That's
ramekin.
how you steal 2,700 tons, man.
You have to do it in a ramekin. No one will see it coming that way. So they go to Quebec to steal ramekins of the National Maple Syrup Reserves. Mrs. Butterworth's in charge of it all. We can't find Mr. Buttersworth anywhere, but nobody cares because he doesn't exist. He's hanging out with the Detroit Lions, and they get caught. Mrs. Butterworth gets dragged into a dark room. Mrs. Butterworth, where were you on the night of February 20th, 2025? I'm not talking. Mrs. Butterworth goes, that's the Pillsbury Doughboy, but I think Mrs. Buttersworth would probably do that too. So she laughs. That's her signature evil laugh. She's like, I'm not telling you nothing. See, I'm not telling you nothing. See?
She's a 20s era gangster.
She's a 20s era gangster that laughs like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
You know what? Let's
Why
rock.
wouldn't she be? So all of a sudden, a red light appears from the corner of the room.
So tell me.
It's a skeleton, of course. Mrs. Buttersworth. The skeleton talks like RFK Jr. because, of course, he does. I heard that you've been stealing ramekins of syrup.
Oh, Christ.
And in her terror, she admits to the whole thing, and she tells where all the ramekins are hidden, and everything goes down the drain. So Ocean's 12 was a little more successful. They actually managed their heist.
Yeah.
Buttersworth 17 had more syrup in it. So that's the end. And I guess everyone's taken to justice except little Johnny, who escapes because he's so used to avoiding corn monsters that he can avoid anything. What's a few Canadian Mounties when he's been avoiding corn monsters his entire life?
Yeah.
And that's the end of the Buttersworth 17, the search for Mr. Buttersworth. That might be my best one.
That could actually have legs. You could actually sell that to like Lionsgate or something.
Oh, it's pretty good. So
It's pretty good.
that's my movie pitch. I don't know what that was, but it happened. So it's your turn.
Oh god. So my pitch, it's about a family. They're living in Nebraska and they're getting ready for a move, right? So they're packing up their house, their farmhouse, right? And they're like, I'm going to, we're making our last peanut butter balls.
Gotta let him cool.
And we gotta let them cool. So they take out their peanut butter balls and they're letting them cool and they're being very careful because they know that the corn monster loves peanut butter balls.
Of course.
And so they're on corn monster watch. And so what?
To be fair, everyone in Nebraska is on corn monster watch.
True. But they had,
They're extra vigilant.
they're extra vigilant. And so one of them, is sitting up there, looking out the window with a shotgun, just waiting. And he sees something come out of the corn, and it's an opossum, but it's a giant opossum. He's like, oh no. So he goes out there and tries to shoo it away, but he can't. And so it's just eating fistfuls of the peanut butter balls, right? And he's like, go on, shoo. And so he's like too afraid, and he like gets rid of the shotgun. And then the opossum eating its fill is like, wait, I have something that might interest you. And he's like, first of all, you can talk.
That's interesting.
First of all, you're
Negotiate here. Wait, you're an opossum.
an opossum. And he's like, if you help me steal 2,700 tons of syrup.
It's becoming cliche now, the syrup heist movie, but I'll allow it.
So they're getting ready. And so they're like, so they get to Quebec, they get to the reserve, and they're like, wait a minute, what's this building? And so they go into this building off to the side, and there's a bunch of researchers, and there's like a Stargate, right? And they're like, what is this? And so keep in mind, it's like a random person from Nebraska and a giant
Going to Kolob?
they're going to Kolob.
That's
They're going to Kolob. And so they go to Kolob, and they're like, this isn't really that great.
that's depressing. I was hoping it'd be amazing.
And
It's just like the real Stargate movie. It's really cool until they go through the Stargate, and then the rest of the movie just kind of sucks.
yeah, and they're like, oh, this is like a weird Egyptian land. I mean, everyone's kind of cool, but like, I was expecting
Just less syrup than I was
less
hoping.
syrup. So, and in any case, they steal whatever syrup is available, which is exactly one ramekin of syrup.
Oh, in the whole of Kolob, there's only one ramekin?
In the whole,
We need to get Mrs. Buttersworth on the
we
case.
need to get Mrs. Buttersworth over there. And so yeah, basically they come back through the Stargate and shenanigans ensue. But apparently that ramekin is so concentrated that it is worth $97 million Canadian. So it's like
$12.
like $12. And so it's so concentrated that eventually the legal cartel roughs up the opossum.
They gotta get their hands on that sweet concentrated maple syrup.
They got to get their hands on it. And so basically it's like a back and forth with this giant opossum and this Nebraska family. And then eventually, like, they're getting ready for the final battle. And yeah, the corn monster comes and eats.
I was waiting for the corn monster to make a
And
return.
just eats the people, eats the bad guys. And it turns out the corn monsters are bro. So
Okay.
so yeah,
Corn monsters are apex predators.
it's true. Yeah, they're the only ones that feed on man.
Oh, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 17 and 19.
19.
I can't count.
Actually, behind you there, I believe is actually a box of Q-tips.
Oh, I should look.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, it's actually
It's
over
over
there.
there.
Never mind.
That's right. If it was behind me, what do you think I would do with it?
I think you'd flip that bad boy over and
Definitely go to the back side. There's no question.
and give it a quick read.
Got to always read the back of the Q-tip box.
And always make sure that when you go to Kolob, you're looking for maple syrup.
And don't eat the last ramekin of lasagna. Take it home for lunch the next day.
Untitled with Brian and Craig is produced and edited by me, Brian Bennigan. It is also hosted by me, Ryan Nottingham, as well as Craig Dodge. Opening and ending themes are created by AI, so nobody has license to those.